Bienvenido a Whiskey Bonded. Soy Conrad. Today is Cinco de Mayo. So we're going to do a Cinco de Mayo special. All that means is we're tasting tequila. Okay, so how do you define tequila? So tequila in general is a spirit distilled from agave at 40 to 50% alcohol. These are all 40% or 80 proof, and distilled in the Jalisco state of Mexico. That's what you got to do to have tequila instead of, say, mezcal. You can see that I have a lot of tequila here. I do not drink a ton of tequila, but I've developed an appreciation for it after spending a little bit of time in Mexico and being introduced to a few tequila tastings and finding out a little bit more about tequila. So please do not shoot me for my Spanish pronunciations. My Spanish is not good. So I have a Patron Silver, which is a non-aged, so basically white. I have the Don Julio 1942, which I was introduced to in Mexico a few years ago. It's a very popular, it's a good tequila. It's an añejo, but it is technically 2.5 years old, so it's almost an extra añejo. I picked this one because it's good and it's common. This is Don Pilar Extra Añejo. I actually am quite impressed with this one. I'll tell you why. This is a 3-year plus a little bit aged Extra Añejo tequila. We'll start with the Patron. So this Patron is obviously silver. I don't know if you can see that. It's very, very light. There's really no color to it. The tequila in general, to me, especially light tequila, kind of has a citrusy note to it. You know, there's a very specific smell that tequila has. If you've ever had any kind of tequila, if you've had bad tequila, it's the thing that you don't like about the tequila. But that agave that they make it out of, blue agave, is very distinctive. So you get a lot of pepper, kind of a pepper spice is the thing that's really forward. There's a little bit of, I would say, butterscotchy type of flavor to it. But it doesn't taste like butterscotch, obviously. I hate it when tasting media is like, oh, that tastes like butterscotch. It's not butterscotch, it's freaking tequila. And then it just finishes, obviously, with more pepper. Very quick finish. If you're used to drinking straight spirits of different types, it's not very hot. It doesn't come across as super high proof. Not a lot of effervescence on the palate. This bottle here, just so we can, as we go along, I'll give you a comparison. This bottle here is about $40. I mean, you can get it a lot of places. There's definitely cheaper tequilas, but I think this is what you're going to start at for your. They'll call it top shelf. This is great for mixing with stuff. That's actually why I keep it around for margaritas and stuff. So it's good for that, but you can actually drink it straight. I mean, if you're going to drink a Blanco tequila, that's doable. I mean, you can definitely sip on that. So the Don Julio 1942, like I said, it is an añejo tequila, but it is aged 2.5 years. So an añejo tequila has to be aged at least a year, typically in American oak barrels, just like bourbon, just like whiskey. This is actually aged for 2.5 years, so it's almost an extra añejo. Why they do that, I have no idea. But this bottle, you can find this bottle for about $135. It's a giant jump in price. So like I said, there's a lot between here and go ham. I mean, explore tequila. There's a lot of them out there, but I picked this one just because this is the one that comes up a lot. I mean, I hear a lot of people talk about Don Julio 1942. You can see that, hopefully you can see, that it's a bit darker than the Patron. It actually has a little color to it. That's because it spent a little bit of time in an oak barrel, like whiskey. Again, you're going to get those citrus notes, but now on both the nose and on the palate, you start to pick up on a little bit of that oak. And you start to get a little bit of a caramelly, describe it as chocolate, maybe. But there starts to be a vanilla characteristic. I actually really like these as they start to get a little older because they actually start to take on a little bit of a characteristic of whiskey. You start to get, I mean, for me anyway, there tends to be some of the same kind of smells, some of that kind of oak, some of that vanilla note that you get in a sweeter whiskey. The finish gets a little longer. There's still pepper. If it kind of hangs around, it's a little longer, but now you also get a little bit of that oak and a little bit, I guess I'd call it vanilla, a little bit of a sweetness to it. Really good though. You can sip this one. This is actually really great on ice, sitting by the beach or the pool. Don Pilar is one that you don't hear people talk about too much. I mean, I don't hear people talk about too much. I've got a couple of friends that are really into tequila. This is an extra añejo tequila. This one I wanted to show you guys today because I was super surprised by this. I actually got it as a gift. Don Pilar can be found for about $160, so it's not cheap, but you get a tequila that was aged for 3 years in American oak barrels and then aged for another 6 months in French oak barrels. And what you get is a consistency, a color, and a character. You can see that it's much darker. That is much more whiskey-like to me. I mean, it's still tequila, but man, it has a whiskey, like that caramel richness in the oak that you get. There's still a little bit of that citrus that comes across. But man, you could almost convince somebody that this is a whiskey. I mean, you get a kind of a apricot-y, chocolate, kind of a baked. I mean, it's a little oilier, like a little oilier, like maybe whiskey would be. You do get that pepper. The finish is a lot longer. It really hangs in there. But it's peppery and just a little sweet. Way more of that vanilla. It is really, really nice stuff. I mean, like I said, I was really surprised by that. I actually sipped this neat and really enjoy it, which is not a normal thing for me for tequila. But that is really good stuff. All right, so there you have it. Cinco de Mayo. Little tequila knowledge, just a little bit of what I've learned about it. I really wanted to share this with you guys today because my experience with tequila was super limited. Taking shots at the bar. I was introduced to Patron earlier on as a top shelf tequila, and I realized that it was pretty decent, but I had no idea what was out there and what was available and how much tequila can vary with a little bit of aging, going into a little more thought and a little more process involved in it. You really get into some nice stuff. And I would almost say that by the time you get down to Don Pilar, it's hard to believe that this is the same stuff as this fundamentally, because it is not the same. So get out there, Cinco de Mayo. Maybe you have a margarita. Maybe you use a little bit of Patron Silver, but maybe you mix it up a little bit, spend a couple of extra bucks, and try out something new and different and better, in my opinion, for this Cinco de Mayo. Expand your palate a little bit. So today, Cinco de Mayo, tequila. Yesterday was whiskey. Tomorrow, back to whiskey. The day after that, probably whiskey. I mean, the channel is called Whiskey Bonded. In the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram and Whiskey Bonded. Really appreciate your support. I love all the comments and the response I'm getting on Instagram. Please start dropping me some comments here too. I'd love to be a little more active on YouTube, and I'm going to be dropping videos a lot more often. Hopefully get some feedback from you guys and going back to whiskey. Anyway, in the meantime, cheers. What do you say when you're in Mexico drinking? I got to look that up. This says it was serenaded with Baroque music during fermentation. Why would you play Baroque music to it? What? I mean, wouldn't it be mariachi music? What's that got to do with anything? That can't be true. I mean, it sings to their whiskey. Pour into a wide bowled snifter and sip luxuriously to experience it fully. How do you sip luxuriously? Think that's right? Maybe I should play some Baroque music. What the heck is Baroque music?